The restaurant door slammed behind her like a gunshot. Mia Reynolds stumbled onto the sidewalk, cheeks burning, heart hammering so hard she could barely hear the traffic. Behind her, the man who'd spent the last hour bragging about his crypto portfolio and alpha mindset was still yelling that she owed him for the wine. She didn't look back. She just walked fast until the neon sign of Le Papillon faded into the city blur. Then she stopped. Because a little girl in a pink raincoat was staring up at her, wide-eyed, clutching a half-melted ice cream cone like it was a lifeline. "Are you okay, lady?" the girl asked. "You look like you're gonna cry." Mia opened her mouth. Nothing came out. She hadn't cried in public since she was 12. She was Mia Reynolds, 32, sole heir to the Reynolds tech fortune, the woman who'd closed a $4 billion merger before breakfast. She didn't cry on sidewalks. But tonight she almost did. A deep voice cut through the drizzle. "Lily, what did I tell you about talking to strangers?" The girl Lily spun around, but Daddy, she's sad. The man stepped into the streetlight, tall, broad shoulders under a worn denim jacket, dark hair curling at the collar, tired eyes that still managed to look kind. He had a toddler asleep against his chest in a carrier, tiny sneakers dangling. He looked at Mia, really looked. Not at the designer coat or the diamond studs she'd forgotten to take out, just her. "You okay?" he asked, quiet, no judgments. She should have lied, should have said she was fine, hailed a cab, disappeared into her penthouse where no one asked questions. Instead, she heard herself say, "Bad date." He winced like he'd been there. "Yeah, those suck." Lily tugged his hand. "Daddy, can we help her?" She dropped her phone. Mia glanced down. Her phone was indeed on the wet pavement, screen cracked. She hadn't even noticed. The man crouched, picked it up, handed it over. His fingers brushed hers, calloused, warm. "I'm Jake," he said. "This is Lily, the sleeping one's Noah." "Mia," she managed. Lily beamed. "Hi, Mia, do you like ice cream? Daddy says it fixes everything." Jake ruffled her hair. "Not everything, kiddo." But he was smiling, a small, real smile that made something in Mia's chest twist. She should have walked away then, should have thanked them and vanished. Instead, she said, "I could use some ice cream." They ended up at a 24-hour diner 3 blocks away, the kind with cracked vinyl booths and a waitress who called everyone hun. Jake ordered chocolate for Lily, vanilla for Noah, who was now awake and smearing it on his cheeks, and black coffee for himself. Mia ordered a milkshake she didn't want, just to have something to hold. Lily chattered nonstop, about kindergarten, about how Daddy built treehouses, about how Noah once ate a crayon. Jake listened like every word was gold. When Lily spilled sprinkles everywhere, he didn't scold her, just wiped them up with a napkin and kissed the top of her head. Mia watched them and felt something crack open inside her. Something she'd buried under boardrooms and private jets and the constant grinding pressure of being the Reynolds heiress. She'd grown up in a house with staff who called her Miss Mia and a father who died when she was 9, leaving her a fortune and a legacy she never asked for. Her mother had remarried 3 times, each husband more interested in the money than the girl. Mia had learned early, people wanted what she had, not who she was. So she'd built walls, armor, a life where no one got close enough to hurt her. But here was this man, this single dad with paint on his jeans and exhaustion in his eyes, who looked at his kids like they were the only thing keeping him upright. And he was looking at her the same way. Not like she was a billionaire, like she was human. "You don't have to tell me," Jake said later when Lily was coloring on the placemat and Noah dozed against his shoulder again. "About the date, but if you want to." Mia laughed, a sound that surprised her. He spent 40 minutes explaining why women should worship men who provide. Then he asked if I'd Venmo him for the Uber home. Jake's jaw tightened. "Sounds like a real prince." "He thought I was a paralegal," she said. "I let him." Jake raised an eyebrow. "Why?" "Because if I'd told him who I really was, he'd have proposed by dessert. Because I'm tired of being a headline. Because I wanted just once to be seen." She didn't say any of that. Instead, she shrugged, seemed easier. He nodded like he understood anyway. They left the diner at midnight. The rain had stopped. The city smelled like wet asphalt and possibility. Jake walked her to the corner where her driver was probably circling, frantic. She hadn't checked her phone. "I should," she started. "Daddy, can Mia come to the park tomorrow?" Lily interrupted. "She said she likes swings." Mia blinked. "I didn't say that." "You smiled when I talked about swings," Lily said, like that settled it. Jake looked at Mia. "You don't have to, we're just us." Messy loud broke half the time. Broke. The word hit her like a slap. She could buy this entire block with one phone call. She could fix whatever broke meant for him in a heartbeat. But he wasn't asking. He was offering. I like swings, she said. The park the next day was chaos and sunlight. Lily ran in circles. Noah tried to eat a dandelion. Jake pushed Mia on the swing higher than she'd gone since childhood, his laughter rough and real when she squealed. She wore jeans and a hoodie she'd bought at Target that morning. No security detail, no driver, just Mia. For the first time in years, she wasn't performing. It became a pattern. Saturday mornings at the park. Tuesday nights at the diner when Jake picked up extra shifts at the auto shop. Fridays when Lily had dance class and Jake let Mia tag along, sitting in the back row with Noah on her lap, clapping too loud when Lily nailed her pirouette. She learned things. That Jake had been 22 when his wife died in a car accident, leaving him with a newborn and a 3-year-old. That he dropped out of architecture school to work double shifts. That he built furniture in his garage at 2 a.m. to sell on weekends. That he hadn't been on a date in 4 years because who has time? That he sang off-key to Noah when the baby had nightmares. That he kept a jar of quarters on the fridge labeled Lily's college fund and added to it religiously, even when it meant skipping his own lunch. That he looked at Mia like she was a miracle he didn't deserve. She almost told him the truth a dozen times. The first time was when Lily asked if Mia had a daddy, and Mia said, "Not anymore." And Jake's hand found hers under the diner table, squeezing like he could absorb the pain. The second time was when Noah got sick, just a fever, but Jake hadn't slept in 2 days, and Mia wanted to call her private doctor, snap her fingers, make it all go away. The third time was when Jake showed her the treehouse he was building in their tiny backyard, apologizing for the splinters, and Mia realized she'd never had anything built just for her. But every time, fear stopped her. What if he hated her for lying? What if he thought she was slumming it? What if the money changed everything? So she stayed quiet and fell harder. The breaking point came on a Thursday in October. Jake's truck broke down again and he couldn't afford the repair. The auto shop cut his hours, Lily needed new shoes, Noah's daycare raised rates. He didn't tell Mia any of this. She found out because Lily mentioned it in passing. Daddy says we're having spaghetti again 'cause it's cheap, with the kind of cheer only a 5-year-old could muster. That night Mia sat in her penthouse staring at her laptop. One transfer, one click, she could fix it all. She didn't. Instead, she showed up at Jake's house the next morning with a toolbox and a plan. "I know a guy," she lied, "let me help with the truck." Jake looked like he wanted to argue, but Noah was crying and Lily was late for school, so he handed her the keys. She spent the day under the hood, grease in her hair, calling in favors from a mechanic friend who owed her from college. By dusk, the truck roared to life. Jake stared at her like she'd grown wings. "How?" he asked. "Magic," she said, and kissed him before he could ask more. It was their first kiss, quick, desperate, perfect. But secrets don't stay buried. A week later, a paparazzi photo hit the tabloids. MIA REYNOLDS spotted in Brooklyn dive bar with mystery man. Jake saw it at the grocery store checkout. The headline screamed, "Billionaire era slumming it." He didn't say anything when she showed up for their usual Friday pizza night, just handed her the magazine with shaking hands. Lily was in the other room, oblivious, Noah asleep. "Is it true?" he asked. Mia's throat closed. Jake. "All of it." She nodded. He laughed, but it wasn't funny. "So the park, the diner, the truck, this," he gestured between them, "was what? Research, a walk on the wild side." "No," her voice cracked, "it was real, you were real." "I can't do this, Mia." He looked suddenly, achingly young. "I can't be the guy who needs rescuing. I can't let my kids think love comes with a price tag." "You think I want to rescue you?" She stepped closer. "I'm drowning, Jake, in boardrooms and expectations and a life where no one sees me. You see me, the real me, not the money, not the name." He shook his head. "You lied." "I was scared." "Of what?" "That you'd look at me like I was a transaction, like everyone else." Silence stretched between them, thick and terrible. Then Lily ran in. "Daddy, why are you yelling?" Jake knelt, pulled her close. "We're not yelling, baby, Mia's just leaving." Mia's heart shattered. She didn't fight for him, not then. She gave him space, gave herself space. Spent 3 weeks in Tokyo closing a deal she didn't care about, staring at her phone, willing it to ring. It didn't. But Lily called from Jake's phone. "Mia, Daddy's sad, he burned the spaghetti, can you come fix it?" Mia was on a plane 6 hours later. She showed up at his door with a casserole and no plan. Jake opened it looking like he hadn't slept in days, grease under his nails, eyes red. "I'm not here to fix anything," she said. I'm here to apologize and to tell you the truth, all of it. She told him everything, about growing up lonely in a mansion, about her father's death, about the suitors and the scandals and the way her mother once sold her diary to a tabloid. About how the first time Jake pushed her on the swing, she felt like a kid again, like she mattered. I don't want your money, she said. I want Sunday mornings with burnt pancakes. I want Lily's dance recitals. I want Noah's sticky fingers. I want you, Jake, broke, tired, perfect you. He stared at her for a long time. Then he stepped aside. Let's try the casserole, he said. Lily's been asking for your fancy macaroni. It wasn't perfect after that. There were fights about money, about boundaries, about the bodyguard who sometimes trailed them at a distance, Mia's compromise. There were nights when Jake's pride flared and Mia's fear crept in. But there were also mornings when Lily crawled into their bed demanding stories. Afternoons when Jake taught Mia to use a circular saw, laughing when she nearly took off a finger. Evenings when Noah said mama for the first time, reaching for Mia with chubby arms. They got married in the backyard. Under the treehouse, Jake finished the week Noah turned 2. Lily wore a tutu. Noah ate the cake frosting first. Mia wore a simple white dress from a department store, and when Jake kissed her, the world went quiet. Years later, when people asked how the billionaire heiress fell for the single dad mechanic, Mia would smile and say, "He walked me out of a bad date and into a good life." And if you're still here, still believing in second chances and burnt spaghetti and love that doesn't care about bank accounts, hit that like button. Subscribe, ring the bell, because this channel, it's for the dreamers, the fighters, the ones who know that sometimes the richest thing in the world isn't money. It's a little girl offering you her ice cream on a rainy night. And a man who sees you, really sees you, and loves you anyway. See you in the next story.